The stream is on, and I'll press the button to. That's not it, it's over here. See if anything's online. Gotta wait for it to refresh to see if it's online. Online. It's online. Samuel's arm isn't fine. But the thing's online, but it needs to prime. You've got to follow the wires and then run, 'cause that girl's clever. I can navigate away from this screen. I always forget one thing, but I logged in. I'm logged in. It won't make me log in again. Scale this up. Then I'll place this cup. By cup, I mean my phone. And the phone is here. And it's not real weird. And CTK says, hey, press something. All right, got my pen, got my mouse, got some cats, got some water, got my headphone. Only forgot this one screen, but it's there. But it's there. And microphone check 1 2 1 2. That's three green. That's three green lights for me and for you. Face Goo, CTK, and others. I'm sure. Damn it! Why did I close that window? Yeah, that's all there. That's all there. I didn't leave anything open. That's gonna be stealing bandwidths. I did. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. And I think that's it. I think that's it. I think that's it. All right. Oh, where are my buttons? Ripley, where's my sweetest angel? All right, cool, thanks. That was weird. Don't know why you did that. Don't know why you did that. Hey everybody, here we go for another week. Let's work on some animation stuff, because I don't know what else I'm gonna get it done, and I haven't thought of any comic strips for today. So yeah, let's set up these little 8-bit guys that I already have made. They already have some animation on them, but they're not really prepared to use to make quick little shorts where 8-bit me and 8-bit Milo converse back and forth with pre-recorded audios. So yeah, we're gonna smash some things apart. We're gonna Voltron them back together until we're all $1 million men and or women. Cyborgs. Yeah, the $1 million man was a cyborg. The $1 million woman must have been some sort of cyborg. Robot cop, some kind of cyborg. Anyway, hey, you know what? I'm gonna start the intro. But did you know that I came in like a wrecking ball, and I had my mug of stuff, and I didn't mean to spill it there, but I did, and that is kind of rough for you. So I wrecked some of the carpet with what's in my mug, and that's yours to deal with. Cause my policy is I don't clean up after myself or anybody. But I will come in like a wrecking ball. I'll come in like a dump truck. I'll come in like a steamroller, and I'll come in like on a TV show like a sitcom when a blender is like the top is off the blender and it's like, whoa, this blender is out of control. It's like going this way and that. I'll come in like one of those, like a topless blender, and also another sitcom slash movie thing when a lady's like, oh my god, I'm so drunk and I'm taking my top off and I'm going to spin around and knock some tables over. I will also come in like a topless drunken lady some sort of bachelorette night. So that's a list of things that I will come in like that is similar and or equal to a wrecking ball. Ripley. Why everybody's being a wrecking ball today. Let's play the intro. Start making stuff. Meow. Oh, laser sharks. There we go. This is, of course, recorded live in front of you guys. Space Goonie is following again or subscribed. I missed what that said. Hopefully the audio for the alerts didn't go away again, but that's a thing that happens occasionally. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Let's start with me. I don't know where I am. Oh, there I am. I am not labeled. So I'll label me. Always feels weird when I'm writing my own name for animated characters. So right now we've got this. Technically, if I scroll back and forth through the timeline, my eyes move around and my mouth moves. I got rid of some of the body movement because that was just quickly keyframed random body movement for the loop for when we play video games. I think it might have that screen. Yeah, I think I do, but it shows that screen. I've got work stuff on there. I don't think legally I'm allowed to show that. Right now, just to give a quick overview of what we're gonna do before I drift into the stories of the week. Gonna double click and go inside real quick. So right now, how it's broken down is we've got the chair for where I can sit my derriere. Somewhat modeled after this chair, mostly just a blob of red with a little bit of shadow. There's a hand, that's the back hand. That's the headphones that are broken. Tried them again, as discussed last week, and if anything, surprisingly enough, taking some headphones that don't pair very well and throwing them across a parking lot and I don't know, punching them, hitting them against things because it was $50 that you can't get back. Didn't make them better. It didn't make them better. Now, I'm not. Speaking of sitcoms and sitcom rules, if you lose your memory, if you get hurt, if something happens through a coconut bonk on the head, doing it again doesn't usually or never makes it better. Much like Fonzie style, if your jukebox, if your stereo, if your headphones don't work, hitting them, in spite of what every movie shows at some point where it's like, I'll just hit this and makes it work. You can't Captain Kirk your way back to efficiency. So yeah, they didn't get better. I did try them again, and basically the exact same thing. I was like, I'll give you one more chance. I'll admit that after throwing them across a parking lot, beating them off a pole, punching them in my car, while still, like I said, the box, very nice box, very comfortable headphones. If they worked, they would be my favorite headphones. But they don't. they paired so much quickly and so much quicker and effortlessly after I beat them, after I yelled at them. But still, every 4 seconds, it's just hey, today we're gonna about things that but Square is a great that I what we it does that, and that is so just so unacceptable, so unacceptable. Um, don't know much, but I know that that's a Razzler's name. Um, is that the one that also murdered his family? Oh, what a way to start. Um, so anyway, why did I start saying all of that? Um, because hitting things doesn't make it better. Hitting things doesn't make it better. Except, oh yes, because that's why I've got headphones in the little animated version. So the first short will be the audio that I already recorded of Milo going, "Hey, how come you're still holding those and you didn't take them back?" And I'm like, because they don't take them back anymore because COVID times happened. So now you're not allowed to touch things and then return them for money, regardless of how little they don't work. So when I get some time working on another project, short film between work and this, so like 20 minutes ago, I'm like, frantically animating some stuff. So hopefully someday soon I'll finish that. I mean, I do have to finish it someday soon, but I really want to finish it so I can get back to just playing video games and streaming random theme songs as I go and making dumb videos. One of which will be me taking some vice grips or pliers to a pair of headphones, possibly in some fun slow motion shots of them just exploding. I don't know. I don't know yet, but I do want to destroy them on video more so than they already are. They're still completely intact. Like I said, the box is great box. Great box. The hard candy people put their garbage headphones that, again, if it wasn't pandemic, I could just probably swap them out, get another pair, and they'd be like, I mean, wow, they're so good. They're so good. It just takes 2 tries sometimes, but we don't live in that world anymore. So if you don't get it right the first time around, then I gotta smash it. Gotta smash it. Because Eric Bana taught us when things aren't going your way, Hulk. And not in the way that it means now, where I forget what video I was watching. I think it might have been Drew Gooden, I believe is his name. He makes some super fun, super funny, interesting videos that teach me about the internet and the trends that are happening and how crazy they are. He was telling me about a Pepsi game show on Fox that seems ridiculous. But yeah, he was telling me about a video. I want to say it's a like a YouTube / maybe TikTok trend called like Smash or Pass, and I'm just like, what is that about? And he was like, what is this about? Let me explain it to you, because I looked it up, and it's about smashing or passing on people. So you just kind of go through maybe celebrities or people and it's just like, I'd either smash that person or I'd pass on that person. And it doesn't mean I'm gonna Hulk smash that person or let them be. Smash means intercourse them. Is that really how you're gonna explain that? If somebody's gonna intercourse them? Is that how you talk? I don't know. All right, don't know. I don't know who watches this. That's still not the cleanest way to say things, but whatever. It's still a fun, weird word. Well, anyway, that's the story of why headphones are in this little 8-bit thing for now. But I'll try to set it up so we can free up the hands to put anything or nothing in them, and mostly make it about being able to slightly jostle my head around, move my eyes around, and just throw in any random mouth shapes so that I don't have to do real lip sync when I throw audio in. And same goes for little 8-bit Milo to be able to rotate his head a little bit, so break him down into some pieces. Because right now he is basically, I think, just one piece, and that's no good. It's no good for anybody except for people that are a fan of the pirate anime. I think it's about pirates. I know that somebody explained it to me one day, and I was like, One Piece? Is it about like the one piece of gold or the balloon, and they're after it because it's like the hallowed One Piece, like the last piece of the balloon or whatever it was in the Jack Sparrow world, to keep them from being human or free or skeletons or whatever that movie was about. And no, I don't think it was, and I don't remember at all. Either way. So right now we've got the back arm. We've got that box. We'll call that our MacGuffin. Huh? That's a movie term. So if you don't know, in any movie, when there's just like a thing, whatever the thing is that seems to be the reason for everybody, like, hey, we got to get that thing. No, we need the thing. And the bad guys are getting the thing. Oh, the fringe group is getting the thing. That's called the MacGuffin. It could be anything. Movies are a very simple system of things, and it doesn't usually actually matter. But that's just whatever. Then there's the head. Then we got, what's that? We got some legs. They're just one piece. And then we got the front arm. That's just one piece. We'll break that down into a few pieces so we can move it around. And then we got a little front piece of chair arm to cover over the legs, so that if I do break me off a piece of my torso, I can move that around. Of course, it won't be real 8-bit looking because I'll be rotating on just a whatever axis I feel like it, instead of it, everything staying within the horizontal and vertical blocks as a true 8-bit looking thing would look. We're going to cheat it, and we're not going to let it weigh on our consciences all day and all night for the rest of our life. That sounds like you are going to let it weigh on your conscience, and someday you're like, oh, I think that I should sit down and make sure this is an actual, like, 8-bitty looking thing, instead of just cheating through my whole life. No, I will never come back. I will never fix it. You're way down here now. We're just going to let it go. We're just going to let it go like the frozen snow or whatever they're letting go in that movie. You're thinking, why am I saying so many words and talking so fast? What, do you really just want to talk about SpongeBob SquarePants? Is that what's going on? Hey, did somebody mention SpongeBob SquarePants? Because that guy is the most laid-back, coolest guy in the surf. And you know me, I enjoy a good surf time. Floating, bobbing, body surfing, standboarding. I don't remember what that's called, guys, but I enjoy it all. Thanks, Ted. Thanks. Let it go. Let it go. Let it snow. Oh, my bro. And my heart will go on, and this is another song. Oh man, I made notes. I made some notes, but one of them is basically like, remember as many of these things as you can, but I don't remember them, so I couldn't write them down. It's just like, hey, just remember these things. So that'll be a fun game. So first of all, I'm gonna go with one awesome thing. Then we're gonna talk about something irritating, and then we're gonna talk about how, in some ways, I get over irritating things instead of Hulk smashing them, and then we'll get to SpongeBob. How does that sound? How does that sound, everybody? Everybody? How does that sound? How does that sound as I scroll through, try to find. Did you find the button? I'm up for anything. No, your voice is too raspy. You need to be replaced. Um, so, awesome wise, we talked about it last week already. Tried my best to just save as many episodes as I could. There's only 4 out now. But it is just every Friday. You gotta wait till every Friday, and then a new episode of Invincible comes out. Um, but man, oh man, man, oh man, so tempted to just go and rebuy my Invincible graphic novels because I don't have them anymore. Because I want to know. I can't quite write. I have some vague ideas of what happens in the next episodes, but I can't completely remember it. And I'm just like, I can't wait. I can't wait. I just want to sit down and just reread all of Invincible now. So it's just like one of the greatest shows on Prime right now. And I love it. I love it. I love it. Like I said, J.K. Simmons, perfect voice. Stephen Yeun, perfect voice for young something Grayson for Invincible. And I don't know how I didn't realize Gillian Jacobs is Adam Eve, Atom Eve, and she's like one of my favorites as well. If you don't listen to Comedy Bang Bang, she's just super fun on that, just being herself, but she's still kind of this insane character version of herself. But she is Britta. Yes, Britta from the Community. Lots of Community people floating around in there. Zach Quinto is I'm literally just looking at the things that you guys are writing of Avocado Shake, saying it's so good. It looks like I'm reading this, but I'm not. Ooh, what does that say? Connor on 40 frames a second. That's too many frames a second, Connor. You are gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna spin wildly out of control. Oh my god. We're gonna be doing this at 30 frames a second, Connor, because that's where I like it. Stop motion wise, I usually still keep that at a nice 24 frames a second every once in a while. If you are astute, if you're a maniac, if you have some sort of robotic internal clock, the I'm the Bad Guy, the Billie Eilish song that I stop motioned on my reels to Shredder. The slow part where he's like, I'm the bad guy, and the head tilts up. Just at a whim, I was like, I'm not going to animate this super slow. I'm just going to throw it on at like, I don't know, 18 frames a second. And I think it's perfect. Completely by fluke, but I think it's so perfect. That one part of that video is the best thing I've ever done. But yeah, stop motion and a 24. Flash. Adobe Animate at 30. A few times people have asked me to do stuff at 60, and that's insane. That's insane. Ugh. Oh, I almost said George Lucas. George Romero. No. His name is. Oh, God. But whatever. The Godzilla guy. The Lord of the Rings guy. Not George R.R. Martin. It's not even a George name. I know it's not a George name. But whatever. That guy and his Let's Make the Hobbit movies at 120 frames a second or whatever he did. No, you've ruined everything. Video games are all at 60 frames a second now. Not Tolkien, but the guy who took the Tolkien and movied the Tolkien. I really want to remember it before somebody types it on the screen. And I don't know why I can't. I can't at all. Maybe I could remember. Let me think. I think his name is Lorith. Is it Lorith Fishburne? Oh my god, that is so far off. But oh my god. DIK. Excella. Are you calling me? Are you calling me a DIK? Or is that Scandinavian for hello? I'm gonna assume it's Scandinavian for hello. And a fine dick to you as well. Peter Jackson. There we go. Oh, Space Goonie. Kapow. Kapow indeed. But anyway, Oh man, I drifted off as I often do, but Robot on Invincible, Zach Quinto voice, so good, so good. Um, Hello, Excella. What do you know, Excella? You can excel like no other fella. Nobody stop, nobody gonna yella. All right, like I said, we're just breaking things apart and rebuilding. So I'm gonna separate some eyebrows here. Boom. And then I'm gonna go F8. And I'm gonna call this eyebrow EYEBROW. That's how you spell eyebrow. But I made it a movie clip. I want it to be a graphic. Then we're gonna make that a single frame. I'm gonna go into this eyebrow. And we're gonna make some different states for the eyebrow. Why am I talking like this? I don't know how. Now I think again. What else did I have to say? Anyway, Invincible, so good. I can't believe I was like gonna save it, and I got to. Thanks for the follow, Exella. And I can't wait. I can't wait for the next episode. Each episode, I'm like, oh, is the thing gonna happen where he finds out about the thing? I don't want to spoil anything yet, but it didn't happen yet. And I'm like, but how does he find out? I don't remember because I thought that when he fights Seth Rogen on the moon, Seth Rogen's like, oh, you don't know about this? And I'm like, oh, but I still think that Seth Rogen is the one that tells him about the thing that he finds out until he has to murder that guy that you do not expect. Oh, he's gonna murder that guy, and then he does, and you're like, what? Oh my god, now what happens? And then you keep reading, or you forget and move away and stop buying comics, and I don't remember which happened. But I do know that all of the books, each book was named after a different like sitcom, family sitcom, like Full House, I think, was one of them, and Family Matters was another one, and do, and just scrolling through the voices on IMDb while I'm watching it, and seeing that Reginald Vell Johnson does a voice of it. All the voices are just so good. So good. Everything that happens, so good. But again, if you're not into animated crazy violence and eyes popping out, then it's not for you. I genuinely keep getting surprised every time it happens, even though it's, what happens in the comic book. Thanks, XR. Talk at you later. I'm still gonna break up the eyebrow in 8-bit form, so I'm gonna make tilted up eyebrow. I'm gonna make a bit of an arched eyebrow. Just gonna have a few things that we can pop between. Excuse me. Oh my god. Are you kidding me? You're just gonna sit there and burp on a live stream that's live. You can't edit that out. Ripley, are you gonna edit that out? Meow. 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 See? If anything, she's going to increase the volume when it happens so that people can hear it. Because, she's a monster. You act like she's the sweetest angel, but mostly, if you watch any sitcom or movie, in the end, whoever the sweetest angel is usually the most evil one. Not to spoil anything in your Invincible cartoons. That really doesn't spoil anything. So anyway, watched some more Invincible. Because it's great. Because it's great. It's just so great. It's so great. Watched him go to space. Totally for. Oh my god. Oh, I genuinely did not remember. Again, try my best not to spoil anything. But the stuff that Robot's doing. Oh, Robot! Oh, I feel like I trusted you the most because of your logical robot heart. But of course, if you're every robot you can't trust because the logicality is too steadfast. Always, it will eventually go like, oh, well, logically, they have they have to start trying to eradicate humanity. Not that that's what he's doing. I don't even remember what he's doing, but those episodes are already there. I'm only spoiling stuff that's already out. So if you haven't watched it yet, that's your fault because you have some sort of ability to not watch every episode that's available. I managed to save a few episodes for this weekend, but then I'm just like, gotta watch them all. Gotta watch them all. King Kong versus Godzilla cost $25 to rent. So I mean, am I really gonna do that? You came pretty close to doing that. I came really close to doing that. I still might do that only because like I can watch it on the TV in the living room. If I pay $25, if I watch it some other way that may or may not be unsavory, I'll have to watch it on my computer over here and not be supporting somebody. I'm sure Peter Jackson still gets some of that $25 somehow. But also, maybe, just maybe, maybe Ripley tried to watch it on the weekend without paying $25, but all the servers on all the internet are like, hey, you want to pay us to our legal service so you can get some of this premium bandwidth? Because if you don't, our servers are overloaded and you don't get to watch this movie. That sounds like an indictment of illegality completely. I mean, it's like Space Goody says over there. Like, do you remember? Do you remember when renting a movie cost $3.99? Then all of a sudden one day you were like, "Hey, I guess I'll go to Blockbuster where they have 17 copies of the same movie." And in exchange for those 17 copies of the same movie, so it's guaranteed to be in, it just costs $7.99 to rent a movie. And you're like, "Oh my god, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?" Now I'm renting this movie and I'm watching it with a little bit of spite and anger. I do remember that. And then other rental services were like, "Oh, if you don't want to do that, just pay $14 a month, and then you can just keep exchanging movies like it's a library, even though you could also go to the library and just do the same thing with movies that are older." Oh, man. Who cares? Who cares? Next week, I'll probably have seen it, and we'll talk about it next week. But what I did watch, what is on Prime, if you've paid for your Prime, and you loaded some Prime music onto your phone because it's like, well, I've paid for it. Why not finally have some of that music that I can play anywhere without having to without having to use bandwidth, and I can have an offline library of music. Like, my Spotify library is the best. It's the best. I mean, it has commercials, but those aren't so bad. Only some of them are wildly depressing, and others are only insanely too loud compared to what you've been listening to. But, oh yeah, I already pay for premium Prime, so why not take advantage of the music? And so I did, and I tried to download all the same music that I have in my Spotify, and like 50% of it isn't there. And if it is, it's like, oh, you want to listen to these songs from these albums? Well, guess what? They're like premium Prime. So you're going to have to pay an extra fee, and some of them, that still isn't going to cover it. You still have to like rent slash buy those albums to listen to them, because, I mean, maybe that's better for the musicians, but boo indeed. Boo earns indeed. Speaking of that, you know what? Okay, we got some arched eyebrows, angry, and whatever. Let's make even angrier eyebrows. Real angry eyebrows. We're going to go down a little further over here. So anyway, didn't even for a minute realize or remember that a long time ago, my friend Jacques, who I used to share an office with when we made TV cartoons for children a long time ago in a galaxy an hour away from here. Oops. Get rid of this outline. And one day, Jacques sends me a message on Instagram to say, "Hey, do you remember when you guys did that podcast and there was like I think it was like one episode of the podcast. Is that podcast like on the line anywhere?" I'm like, "No, it's not. It's finally been eradicated. iTunes took it off after so many years of not doing anything." But it was like, yeah, I still have most things in a folder on my computer. What you looking for? And he was like, I kind of wanted to play that episode where you take an hour and a half of your time and you intricately and specifically describe each and every death of every pet you've ever had and how every single one of them is insane and or hilarious on some level where, as I explain it, I'm losing my mind. But, still, it's been a long time. It's all like my childhood pets, and just each one is just completely insane. One of which being, hey, that time my hamster died. I think we talked about this. And I'm just like laying sick in bed where I have a cold. I'm just like, oh, like, Father, my hamster has finally died. And he's like, oh, okay, no problem. I'll take it out and I'll bury it, quite solemnly and with care and love. Like, oh, thank you, Father. Thank you. Hopefully, this burial will be well dignified and off she will go to a better place, whatever I believe at this point in time. Like, yeah, no problem. Nope. Yeah, no problem. I got it. Let me take the hamster in my hand. And yeah, I'll go do that. It should take, a little while. I'll have to grab the shovel. I'll have to dig a hole, fill the hole back in, probably say some words of encouragement to send it off to the nether realms. And then I very easily could hear from my bedroom the door open to the house. And that sounds like, a grown man throwing a hamster into the woods from the front door without even so much as stepping outside, and then click of the door closing again, because how many different ways can a child be scarred and tormented for the rest of his life, or how many different hilarious wacky stories can I have and bring into my adulthood to tell people? Is that the first one? No, there's a million. I just was telling my therapist just last week about a cat, and we're not going to talk about that here because it's genuinely horrific. I mean, most of them, that's the least horrific one. That's why I tell that one. But the rest are just like they're just horrific. I mean, amazingly horrific. So anyway, Jacques was like, "Hey, that one. I would like to share your sorrows and torment with my friends in. I don't even know where he is anymore. Oh, he's in Montreal with my friends in Montreal. Like, all right, cool. Well, whilst working on movies, like, hey, what are you doing now? Like, oh, you know how SpongeBob is your favorite thing, or at least was back in the day. I'm working on a new SpongeBob movie. It's crazy. Like, oh, cool. And like, hey, I'm not supposed to show you this or send anything out, but check it out. Like, here's a real official sketch. Check out this posing or whatever from we're working on it or whatever. And it's just like in a little Instagram photo, but I'm like, wow, like a real somebody directing, storyboarding, like a real SpongeBobian thing. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. That's so cool. Like, I don't want to work on a big Hollywood, big budget movie in any way, shape, or form. I assume it would be the most stressful thing in the world. And Jacques was like, yep, most stressful thing in the world. I've also started therapy. Like, of course. And just for turds and tickles, make a slightly tilted eyebrow. Will I ever use these? I don't know. Don't know much. But you gotta be prepared. And that's how you end up always scared. So, That was a while ago. A while ago. And in my head, just like, oh wow, Pat, that's awesome. Feels like so many people in my life have worked on like things that I super super adore and have no interest in ever working on. I did some work on a speed racer series for a minute, like literally a handful of scenes, and I think I managed to do a handful of scenes for Richard Scarry back in the day. I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. Like these are things that I know about. Um, but the more prestigious, the more uh, um, of a property it was, the more stressful it is, the more weird it is. It was more fun, like working on 3 Delivery with Pat, where it was like, this is seems like it's going to be a real property with like merchandise, but there isn't the stress of, hey, there's a bunch of people that own this, and if we mess up their vision, they'll hate us forever. Modify, transform, flip horizontal. All right, so now we have 2 different eyebrows, and then we can click through them as needed. Don't like extra angry eyebrow that much. Keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. So, got some eyebrows. Got some eyebrows. And of course, was 3 Delivery so fun that I lost my mind, and that's when I began therapy for the first time and stopped working in TV. It sure was. Did I have the conversation on the weekend? I think it was of, hey, what? I remember why I hated TV. As soon as I'm done this project, I'm not doing TV again. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. How many times I got to remind people it's the worst, unless you're a crazy, coked out maniac or a child or somebody who loves children on a degree that you should be in jail. That's the only way to work in children's television. Like making TV is only for people who are just out of their mind on crazy drugs because it's just a crazy thing to do. So SpongeBob Movie is there, and I'm like, I don't know. Do I want to watch this? It's on the same layer. They are. Because I didn't watch the last one. I loved the first SpongeBob movie, the one with David Hasselhoff in it. It's amazing. It's amazing. Still, if I threw it on, I know that I would still love it immensely. The last one that came out where they're superheroes, I'm not sure. I think maybe Jacques worked on that as well. If not, some of my other friends who are out in Vancouver and British Columbia, I think that some of them might have worked on it. The Space Jam trailer, wow, people were like tweeting and posting about Space Jam. I thought the movie had come out, and I'm like, guys, everybody, like, calm down. You're fully spoiling the movie. But all that has come out is the trailer. Um, but it looks even better than I imagined, and seems like it still takes place in space. And Don Cheadle is a bad guy. Yeah, you can't fault Don Cheadle. To me, he's also up there with J.K. Simmons. You throw him into something, and it's going to be great. He was my like literally, I think one of my favorite parts about Ocean's 11 was like, this guy's amazing. I don't know who he is. I don't know what his deal is, but I think he's the greatest. I didn't find out till years later. Everybody hates that accent he did, and that wasn't his accent. Um, but I watched a good season or 2 or 3 of House of Lies, mostly because Ben Schwartz was on it. But again, other than all of these people are unlikable maniacs, and it's just exhausting to watch a show about maniacs all the time. He was a fun maniac to like, even though he was just so evil. They're just so evil. But man, he's so good. So yeah, a bunch of my friends worked on Space Jam, and I'm like, wow, like not only did they work on it, they worked on something that's amazing, amazing, amazing. When Jacques first left our little studio down the road here, like we would work all day on a TV show doing 2D animation like this, and then at night he would just be teaching himself 3D, just learning it, watching videos, doing the I forget what it was called, but it was like the 3D challenge website, and he would go there every night, and they'd put out a piece of audio, and people would just like do some 3D acting to it, or some little scenes, and where is this? Okay, so we got some eyebrows. Gonna get rid of this layer. Everything's fine. And then same as with the eyebrows. It wasn't the 1 minute animation challenge. It was called like CG Hub, CG World, or something like that. And it was just like ranged from like the just students, just random kids that were just thrown together, just pre-built models, to other people that were building whole elaborate things, and he was just trying his best every week, every night. Late at night, he just bought a house that he was like reworking, remodeling, again teaching himself how to do all of that stuff at the same time. He's just like the hardest working person in the history of hardest working people. Like, you just thinking about it makes me feel like the worst animator and the worst artist in the world. Ron knows what I'm talking about. So, you know where, you know when. Ron was literally on the other side of the wall from where all this was taking place. So, make this a graphic. Then we're going to make some blank eyes over here that we can scroll through, just like the eyebrows. So yeah, like just teaching himself all that stuff, and then one day, I remember this guy came down who was like working on some big games at a company whose name I don't remember, but they were making like huge deal, like AAA games. And Jacques was like, "Hey, like look at some of my 3D." And he was like, "Yeah, like you're really like doing it. Like you're still learning, but wow, you're gonna be able to do all the stuff." And Jacques was showing him like, "Well, look at what this guy can do." He's like, "That guy, like he's still hiding behind cheats and light effects and dust and smoke." He's like, "But to really get the job, we want to see behind all this stuff." And Jacques took that to heart and kept learning even harder, as Jacques does. And then, yeah, so one day he left, he moved to the other side of the country, and worked on it like a movie, worked on a movie right away. I don't remember what it was called, but something like, whatever, Action Birds or whatever. And just some movie about these birds that had adventures. I don't know. I remember trying to watch it, and no offense to Jacques, but I didn't care for it. Space Chimps. It was Space Chimps first, and then the bird movie. But also didn't care for Space Chimps. No, again, no offense. Animation seemed great and fun, but he didn't make the whole movie. He was an animator on a few scenes, I'm sure, here and there. But whilst there, looking out at the sea of animators, there was people from all over the place, and there was a handful of Pixar animators, and he's just like talking to the other people, like, "What's up with these guys? Why is it they're doing just better animation faster than everyone else?" And they're just like, "Well, we don't know. They're just magic, I guess." But nobody ever really sat down and was like, "Show me, tell me, what are your secrets?" And Jacques was the one that was like, "I'm just gonna go over there then. I'm gonna not treat them like they're magical entities, and just steal their essence." and he was just like, they were super cool. They were just super cool to just be like, yeah, this is what we do. Basically, take the simplest way and then elaborate it on it from there. Like, just get your base, blah, 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 do this, do that. Meanwhile, within that studio, a thing that Jacques did, again, just always learning things, always trying new things. One of the things that he invented or started doing in our studio was making boxes out of paper. So he would just take a stack of paper out of the photocopier, and he would just fold them, no tape, no nothing, into this little box. And he's like, "Huh, you can use this to keep stuff in." It usually end up being a thing to keep ammo in, because they would also make these very tightly woven paper triangles. And then they would take the paper triangles, they, being Jacques and Ron, who was a boss and should know better, but for some reason didn't, and they would take these paper triangles with elastics, and they would fire them out the window on a very busy main street in a busy city, and they would fire them at cars and people. And then they would duck down in the window in the middle of the day, wicked middle of the day. That felt like it would be super illegal, and somebody at the company would get upset and notice someday. And notice they did. One day, cars are like, what? People are freaking out. And the guy who owns the company was like on the street corner, like, what? You notice that blur of people dropping out of a window as if they'd done something nefarious. And then he looks down into the gutter that was just filled with paper triangles. Like, well, I know people who enjoy making things out of paper. I'm going to go in and I'm going to see. And then he came in like, hey guys, stop shooting at cars and people from the window. Just make cartoons for children, please. That was the goal, was to shoot them, as Ron says right there, into the open windows of cars. So people were like, what? And then, as they looked back up at the window to see where it had come from, again, grown adults would drop down from behind a window. Literally, like when I'm not there during the day because I work night shift, just hanging out in front of the window behind my desk, shooting paper triangles. And amongst the paper triangles, like I said, he would make these boxes. And if you made 2 boxes, you could put the box inside of itself and it would become a brick. And then you take those bricks and turn them into a wall. There's been a few adventures, one of which made a big paper brick wall. And they did a thing to raise money. I don't remember the specifics, but if we raised a certain amount of money for the IWK, the studio manager at the time would wear one of those novelty, like Santa Claus G-string type deals and run around the block. Before he did that, we built, a bunch of us got together as quickly as we could, forming these Jacques bricks, and made a big wall to completely fill in a doorway. He burst through the doorway. Jacques was asking if I still had the video, and like Ron still has all of those videos, I'm pretty sure. He burst through the video. This guy is like 6'6", through the wall, and ran around the street. Was back in the days before everybody's phone was a camera, or before everybody had a camera. Before everybody had a phone. Yes. It was only the people who had digital cameras were strategically positioned all around the block. And like I said it again, right downtown Halifax, and like pretty much the most well-traveled corner of town. And then so they took all the video, and then I assume it was Ron, edited all the video together to the Rocky theme with slow motion and whatnot. And I think it was on the news. I know that some news people did show up at some point in time. And that's what it's like. That's what it's like to make cartoons for kids. So anyway, with the brick building skills, Jacques went to Vancouver, started making space chimps. Whilst making space chimps, he also had a penchant for blackjack. every once in a while, me, Jacques, and the aforementioned Mike White here would go down to the casino, and Mike and I would spend $40. Mike would almost always win with his power of Christ compelling him, and then on the way back to the studio, whatever money he'd won, he would give to whatever homeless person that we came across, and Jacques would spend a good $80 playing blackjack, convinced that I can beat them. I can beat them. And no, you can't. You just can't. But he was good. He was good. It wasn't that he wasn't good. It's a cruel game. A cruel summer. Leaving you here on your own. And of course, Mirko, another guy that Avocado Shakes and Drake know. He would actually he also ran a side business while we were making cartoons where he would go and play poker, and he was just like, no, like, I know what I'm doing. I'm great at poker. I will most of the time guarantee your principal, so whatever money you give me, I promise I will double it, and if I do lose it, I will still give you back the money you invested in me. And it worked for everybody except for the one guy who couldn't really afford to lose the money. That's the one person who was just like, sorry, your bad luck and your need for it just blasted through my chi, and I just couldn't do it. I'll give you back your money, but yeah, just there was too much pressure. So that was another thing. But yeah, so whilst going to the Pixar guys and absorbing their Energon cubes of animation knowledge, he built this wall. Like he just built a wall, like a room around his desk with, I believe, with strings and whatnot, so he could like open doors and stuff. And I'm pretty sure it had poker chips of some kind, and people would come and they would buy in to play, and they would just come and sit at this door that would open and play poker against Jacques during work hours, and eventually one day it was like, hey, you got to stop doing that. Some of these people are developing gambling problems, and two, tear down these walls. Jacques Petroff, tear down these walls. So So he did. But then what happened? And Ron already mentioned it earlier in the chat. Headhunters came and said, you there, boy. What animation is this? We would like you to come with us to Albuquerque, New Mexico. And we'd like you to break good and work on our Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs movie. Our Smurfs, the movie, and I want to say one of the first things he worked on was the Alice in Wonderland movie, mostly doing fixes to try and make it so that although Crispin Glover's head would move this way and his hair would move a certain way, and then they were like, well, the animation's got to go this other way, so he would try and like just fix all of that. And it was just so much of that project was just fixing things to work with the stuff that happened, because in spite of filming certain things, and Green Lantern, a lot of those like crazy CG movies are mostly just fixing stuff and didn't sound fun at all. So for years and years and years and years, pretty much most things that were amazing and had CG in them, it was just like, oh, I'm pretty sure Jacques probably worked on that. But I'm not going to sit here and look through all of the credits. Every once in a while, I would look through the credits and see if I could see his name. And then, yeah, on the weekend, SpongeBob, Sponge on the Run is there, and I'm like, oh, I know that Jacques worked on this as an animator or whatever, and I do want to watch it, so let's watch it. And within like literally the first 2 seconds, I'm just like, this is amazing. Like, this is just beautiful. Like, I don't, at the risk of offending CG animators everywhere and all of the wares, I don't usually go looking for CG animated movies. 90% of the time, they just look like that 3D version, especially if it's of a beloved classic from my childhood or what have you. It usually just looks like the 3D version of that thing. As we discussed the Tom and Jerry movie, it looks fine. It looks fine, but for the most part, it looks like just if we did the 2D stuff in 3D, this is how it would look. Would it have the same life? Would it have the same depth and expression and just the involvement that would it pull you in? And no is the answer. It's definitely a real good 3D version, but for the most part, I don't want to watch it. Again, no offense to anybody that we knew or know how who worked on it or whatever. So 2 seconds into SpongeBob, I'm afraid, or before it even starts, I am afraid. I was like, is it gonna look like one of those? And it just looks amazing, like it just masterpiece beyond masterpiece. The timing looks and feels like real animation. Like how a SpongeBob should, like how a classically animated somebody who just eats and breathes animation would do it. Again, like even just regular TV SpongeBob, the posing, where the arms go, where the eyes go. In a million years, I wouldn't think of any of that stuff. That's why I'm so boring, and that's why my faith is so played, and nothing really happened. My mouth is hidden behind this cup 900% of the time. Exactly. Um, but the just how everything sits, how everything moves, it's the posing, it's all still there as if it was all hand drawn. I'm just like, I can't even. I mean, the amount of systems that would have to be built, the amount of smashing things apart and rebuilding them to make this work would just be like just mind-boggling, just insane. There's no way. There's no way. Like, definitely, I would have quit day one. Like, no, let me just move the bones and then go home at the end of the day. I don't care enough. To watch it, yes. Care beyond. To make it, no. No. Lazy. Super lazy. Meow. 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 Exactly. Exactly. Ripley knows what I'm talking about. So, what do I got here? Blink. And do add a bit of an eye pop as well, just one that's slightly bigger. Bing. Just in case. But as I make stuff in the future, I'll add eyes that need adding. So just visually, it's beyond. It's just beyond. And it's still a really great SpongeBob story. And so it's just like super sucked in, really well put together. Again, just the eyes alone, like just so visually whatever. But yeah, the posing and the humor, perfect. Um, so whatever, love the movie from beginning to end. Keanu Reeves, awesome, is an awesome character. I thought for sure, like I saw one image somewhere where I'm just like, oh, they're kind of jamming Keanu Reeves into everything, which I shouldn't complain about because he's also up there with the J.K. Simmons, where he should be jammed into everything. But this one, he seems like he might just be jammed in here, and it's like, nope, he's again in classic SpongeBob fashion. Stuff is jammed in the exact perfect SpongeBobian way. And then even Snoop Dogg, I was very surprised. I didn't expect Snoop Dogg to show up. All of the songs that are in, there's not a lot, but they're all great except one, which although isn't a bad song, it's just kind of one of those songs that are just like, oh, this is just one of those believe in yourself songs that are in every one of these movies. Still good, but the rest are still just like, oh, the music in SpongeBob is always so great. Like the lyrics are just fantastic. And again, still just heartfelt. The old like, oh, I gotta save my best friend thing, just like gets to me every time. So by the time the movie ends, I'm just still just like, oh, that was amazing. Completely forgot that Steven Hillenburg, who created SpongeBob, I forgot that he had passed. So then when that screen comes up, it's just like, oh, like in memory, in honor of whatever. Like it triggered not only like, oh, I was thinking like he must be so proud. Like he must be watching this saying like we did it. I had to be hard on everybody, but this is how SpongeBob should look, done in CG and on the big screen. Although it wasn't, it's just on my TV screen. Don't go to theaters. So I'm just like it triggered the in memory of Jim Henson. Yes, the in memory of Jim Henson that pops up at the end of, I want to say it's at like the Muppet Family Christmas, where he's still there, and then it's like in memory of him, or like maybe it was on TV or something like that, where it's like he's in the end of this, but I know that he's dead, and it just destroys me still to this day. And then just seeing that, where I'm just like, oh no, I forgot that he's gone. This is so sad. But then, big on the screen, I was like, this one I'm waiting for. I'm gonna read all the credits. I'm gonna see Jacques' name, and I'm probably gonna take a picture of it. Maybe, I don't know. And then if you follow my Instagram, I've posted it there. I posted it on Facebook, like full on the screen, like it's there. Animation supervisor Jacques, like that timing. This is all the timing. All that animation supervisoriness, that was because of Jacques. This looks the reason that I'm so obsessed with how great this looks. He didn't just work on this, like that was his job, was making sure. He is the one who sculpted this into the masterpiece. I mean, in certain ways, again, there's the posing and all the stuff, but like the animation, like so many things where I'm like, oh wow, yeah, that was the way to do that. That was real nice. Oh man. And then to see like he got like almost, he had to share it with somebody else, but it's like two names on the screen, and one of them his, and big SpongeBobian text. Like wow, like just like so proud. And then like literally immediately after that, he messaged me because I was posting about it, and where he was just telling me about how crazy it was and how I should write a book about it, because it was a feat. It was unbelievable thing to do. Oops, I accidentally copied my eye without saving it. So so on top of the fact that I thought it was great, and it just was just like uh, eating a bunch of animation deliciousness. Um, it was even better, because I'm just like, I haven't talked to Jacques in so long. The last time I talked to him is when he mentioned, oh, by the way, I'm working on this movie. Send me the audio of you talking about dead animals. And it's just like, hey, just talk to him for a few minutes with a few textifications and remembering a few things. And he's like, yep. So I guess like how you guys would call me Jacques Hollywood, a stealing from the Doc Hollywood, Michael J. Fox, I believe, um, or Christian Slater, one of the two. But either way, he was like, I think I can accept that title now. I think I've finally become that Jacques Hollywood you guys would call me. You're like, yeah, yeah. And he was like, sorry. He was like, I was gonna, I said I would send you some swag, if and when they gave us some free stuff. And just like, yeah, no, I never expected you to get any free stuff. Like you're an animator, you're whatever, you work on the movie. You're not Keanu Hollywood. You're not getting no free stuff. That's just not how that works. But again, the sentiment was wholeheartedly believed that yes, you definitely would if you had that. But I never expected you to have any. Um, all right, so we made some eyes. Now I'll get rid of the rest of these eyes. These eyes. are gonna be animated moving around later. All right, I'm gonna set that to single frame. So those can be adjusted later. And then the mouth. There's only actually a few frames here. I'm just going to copy these frames. I'm going to delete all of these. Shift F6. And then insert new symbol. We're going to call that C mouth. And then paste these frames in here. And I'm going to make this background gray so I can see what's going on here. But again, that's just because Jacques was just the hardest working guy ever. Like, one of the first people are like, hey, here's like a digital video that I took of myself when somebody had, you know, a digital camera for the first time ever, just trying to do a flip. Like before everybody was doing parkour and learning things, just like, I wanted to learn how to do backflips and stuff. So just remember seeing, like, I just practiced this forever. It took me forever just practicing all day long of just running to the end of this deck, jumping off, and then doing a flip and trying not to break my head open until I finally did it without breaking my head open. Like, wow. Like, you're my hero? Like, you're my hero because you can do a flip. Because flips are cool. Flips are super cool. Flips are super cool at flipping. Everyone's doing a flip except you. True. So, these frames closer together. All right. Moving frames around is so much easier to do with a mouse, but when I'm not sitting at my desk, it is a little more awkward. Open, teethy, closed teeth. Same. An O-y mouth. E. Already there. Alright, so that's all those mouths. We'll add a more ooed mouth. One story that I remember Jacques saying, that I don't know if he'd want me telling this, probably not, but was like, hey, I remember we used to, like, as kids, like, want to make our own, like, explosives, like grenades, if you will. So they would take a bunch of, like, caps, back when you could get, like, caps, which were little pieces of paper with, like, gunpowder in them, and you put them in a little gun, and the hammer would hit against it, and would go bang! And I was always terrified of them. Most kids would forego the gun part and just take a strip of caps and a rock and go bang, 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 bang. And, you know, it was still a small little explosion. And he decided, oh, if I take a bunch of those and fill like a Kinder Egg type of thing with them, pack them in real tight, and I forget how, there was still some sort of incendiary device like matches or something, and throw them against something, and I feel like one of the stories was it was a much more concussive and surprising explosion than we imagined, so we didn't make explosives anymore. But explosives were made. Explosives were made. And of course, the other thing was, whilst he was making, renovating a home that he would leave to be rented out, maybe he still owns it. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. He discovered this new kind of flooring thing where before you put down a floor like wood or whatever, you would put down this stuff called dry core, and it was like these, snap together one by one squares, and then whatever, it would be like kind of a floating floor, and that way if there was flooding and the water could move underneath it or blah blah blah, whatever it was, and then you put your flooring on top of it. But regardless, he came in one night talking about dry core, and for years and years and years, and even last time that he's told me I'm working on a SpongeBob movie, I believe I still mentioned dry core, because I can't remember now, but there was definitely either a theme song that we came up with, or I say we, a theme song that I would yell at Jacques daily and nightly, like a harpoon that you hold so tightly. Night, Space Goaty. What time is it? Oh man, I should take off soon as well. But get some more parts done here. Dry core, party. Yeah, I think it might have been to the Wayne's World theme. But yeah, it's for years, and years and years and years. Just singing and yelling about dry core. Also, I think the Team America theme, I believe we also modified to dry core. Can't remember how now though. Something else, dry core, doing something to make your new floor, dry core. But whatever, it was a fun word, and based on Pat's reaction to it, I'm guessing it still exists. Guessing it's a thing that still exists. Of course, I started back at my regular job there the other day after taking some time off to work on a short film for Moxie Fox, and sure I've mentioned it before, but we have like a weekly meeting, and I hate weekly meetings. I hate them, hate them, hate them. Since back in the day when me and Jacques and Ron would stand at the front of a room filled with people and be like, yeah, here are the things of the week that we need to go over and talk about those. What did I say about using my voice? Don't use my voice without my face, all right? It's just one thing that we agree upon, and maybe you don't agree upon it, but it's my rule, and I would like it enforced by me, and the enforcement will come in the form of me throwing this bug at your face. I have not animated that, so that's not going to happen. So, as much as I need to fill time in front of people for an hour or two a week, I also hate it, and it's terrifying. Oh, anxiety's weird. So, at my new job, or my current job, our team, or we have, our time where we present, and a slide comes up, and it's like, this is what I did, this is what Clyde did, this is what Corbin did, this is what Omar did, this is what Albert did. And usually I make no notes beforehand. I try not to think too hard about it. I just look at what I see on the screen and go, I guess this is what they did this week. I am not in charge of this team. I am not supervisor, and I never want to supervise again. I'm just one of the people who has the least amount of anxiety about talking in front of people, and mostly I just like putting a bunch of energy into it and basically having a thing where it is just like, by the way, we're the greatest heroic team of fun and beautiful things in the studio, and for some reason, everybody loves that. Everybody gets a real big kick out of my inability to not accidentally or just obsessively rhyme things as I go through what's been done, what's been said, and to just unabashedly talk about how great Corbin is. Corbin is my new Jacques. He's the one who's there all day long, all night long, learning new things, creating new products. One of which I don't know if it's been officially released yet, so I won't mention it now, but I'm already using it and I love it, and it's so much better than the old version that I used to use that was by somebody else. But yeah, now it's completely unrelated. But if you go to my Instagram or Twitter and go to the links to the little Willow link, there, it's just amazing. Unrelated to the thing I was talking about, but it's awesome. But if you want to just give me money, if you want to support my Instagram or my Twitter or just me in general, instead of going to the donation button here on Twitch, there is just a support me button there, where you can just throw money into my PayPal, and that's awesome. And each of the links has like a little bit of subtext, so it's not just, hey, what's this? I can put a little description, and it's read, and I love it, But that has nothing to do with anything. That's neither here nor there. Meow, 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 meow. Seamless, I know. Nobody has any idea what I'm talking about. But anyway, Corbin's the greatest, and I usually just take the time to say, like, Corbin's the greatest. Omar's and those guys are awesome, and you know, just say what's on the screen. And usually I have nothing to say, so I'm just kind of rhyming, like Homer Simpson walking down the street, seeing a dog and singing what he's seeing. One of these nights you'll have to come over, CTK, and I'll dance for you, buddy. I'll dance for you, dirty buddy. I swear to God. I swear to effing God. Like 4 minutes ago, like less than 4 minutes ago, I said, don't use my voice while I'm sitting right here. Oh my God. If you could just have the time and energy to animate me throwing a mug, or theories of old spoons that we just get that old animation from, oh, that would be just the sweetest deal for me. I would love to just throw some things. That would be amazing. Just don't give Pat what he wants. We can't just be fighting all the time. Oh man. So anyway, I went back to work. I worked one day, and then it was Easter, so then I had a day off. And then Monday came, and it was time for the Monday meeting. And Corbin already made a list of things that we did the week before, and I'm like, hey, I only did one thing, but for one day's work, that's pretty good, huh? Some kind of wolf or Wolverine head. I don't know what it is. Somebody's logo, but I've got it like howling, and then I did that. Today I'll be mocking up some post-apocalyptic stuff for somebody else's GMs, and and whatever, and then went through everybody's things, and one of I think it was Omar's things on the list was like some sort of like all night dance jam theme that he was putting into the Streamlabs theme pack, and I'm just like, oh, like I've just bounced off of that for a minute, and still just had my usual meeting energy, which I keep telling everyone, like, if you want more of this for more than like the 2 minutes that I do this, I do it in stream form every Tuesday. Just, you know, there's like 100 of you guys. Everybody follow and subscribe to me, and that will be amazing. That will be amazing. And then, you know, not that I want to quit that job, but then I could quit that job and just be this, and just be, you know, the gritty reboot of Mr. Dressup, like, you know, we talked about last week, without having to work all day as well, just coming up with ideas of things that we could talk about, play video games. So yeah, it was pretty awesome though, to go back to work and just be like, hey, I get to just animate random stuff for these VIP people, and it changes every day, and that's great. And B, I didn't really realize, but in the chat on the side of the Zoom meeting, everybody's just like, yeah, like Curtis is back, like, oh, we missed this energy, like I've only been gone 2 months, but it's just like, wow, like this feels really good. I wish this was my job. Was again, I like making stuff, but I'd rather just make, my comic strips and my random stuff, and it would to just go and do the meeting every week. And by the meeting every week, I mean this, because I think it's possible that right now I'm still being re-streamed over on the Streamlabs live stream page on their Twitch. Um, but either way, I do still get to have this show, and that's half the battle. It still amazes me that I mean, several things amaze me, but two specifically in regards to this. One is that I still only have 46 subscribers on YouTube, even though I just keep begging people like I just need 100 so I can rename that channel. And 100,000 to make a living off of it. But just 54 more. Yeah, 54 more. That would be amazing. But the other thing being that on Twitch, like there's you guys, there's a handful of people that are here live, which is easy to handle. It's not too overwhelming, and I do appreciate that the chat isn't going 100 miles an hour, and there's a ton of people, and that's real nice. But then after the fact, like within a few hours, if not by the next day, there's 130 views of the people that follow it that I assume watch all of it, most of it. I don't know. I know there's a handful of people that are like, I don't know, like I specifically, this Megan watches in the bathtub. Maybe she still doesn't, but she watches in the bathtub once a week, and other people put it on while they fall asleep, which is great. And just anything over 10 is amazing. Over 50 is crazy, and over 100 is just wow. That is, that's amazing. That's a big number. That's again like $100 is a lot of dollars. 100 people is a lot of people. I don't get $100 from 100 people, but like I said, just being amazed by numbers. Anyway, there's some mouth shapes. Keeping them simple. Going to go to the library, grab the mouth, drop it in here. Gonna make it a little bigger. Make it a little bigger so you can see. Because, right now, I don't need anybody's money. But ideally, I would love to, do this. Because at my job, I legitimately make artwork for people who this is their job. It's just, hey, what did you do today? I did a live stream for an hour, and that was my job. And I bought my mom a house. Like, wow. That's amazing. Oh my God. By we, do you mean you and Bailey? Cats don't like it in the bath. Cats don't like it in the bath. I mean, some cats, they love it in the bathroom, and they'll get it on the edge, but then they always eventually fall in, and they hate it. Alright, set this mouth to single frame. And what time did I say it was? Oh, already 10 o'clock. Alright, I'm going to grab... What did I do? What did I just do? You know what I just did? Yeah, that's what I did. I put that in the wrong place. We'll go back into the head layer. Label this mouth. Label this eyes. Right brow. Left brow. And then I'll form the mouth. That's why it wasn't the right size. Still gonna make it a little bigger. Still make it a little bit bigger. Bailey doesn't like a bath, and it's easy to do the math. 'Cause if that is a cat, they don't like a bath. And that's that. Single frame. Now I'll go back out. So the head is there. Put the rotation point down around the neck area. Where's the neck? Around the neck area. Gonna make the head semi-invisible. Break the body apart. I'm gonna take the neck. I'm gonna chop it out. Drag my sweater across. Fill it up. Fill it up. What's going on? There we go. And the other thing from my notes, as I said, when I get just frustrated with things in the world, when I hate something or people or whatever, and there's, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You just hate everything. So, whatever it was, I don't even remember now, but just angry with people or the world last week. Trying to make appointments for things, and they're like, hey, please confirm this appointment. Okay, I'll confirm the appointment. Hey, speaking of your appointment confirmation, yeah, we're gonna have to change that to several months from now. No, I hate you now. I hate you now. Oh, well, if you make another appointment, just let us know. Why? I just told you to then give me your next soonest appointment, and you didn't. You're just telling me that if you get another one, let us know. You're not my friend. I don't know you. I don't know you. You don't need to know anything about me anymore. I'm going somewhere else completely. So, someday I'll get to go to the dentist again. So whatever. You know, like I said, waited 2 months. And it's literally several days away from finally going to the dentist. Everything's been shut down, and or I didn't have a job and just afraid of going to the dentist. And then they're just like, yeah, no, how about we rearrange it for July? That's not a reschedule. That's another 3 months away. That's like almost 4 months away. What are you talking about? I guess, yeah, I'm going to call everywhere else. So I called CTK's dentist. I didn't realize it was CTK's dentist, but they had some good reviews on the internet. And they were like, so nice. Like, just so nice. And I'm going to paste that neck back down before I forget. I've copied it, and it's gone forever. So nice. And I literally said to them, like, yeah, I made this appointment. Is that another ladybug? The ladybug from last week, it like just was all dried out later on. I put that on Instagram in my stories. Something just flew by over here. I don't know if it was a fly or another ladybug. It was real warm in here, so I did have to open the window, but there is a screen. But whatever, this is a crazy old building. But yeah, that lady just seemed amazing. She didn't seem like she was gonna just throw my appointment away. And the other thing was, I made the appointment for a place that's like right over there. Like from my living room window, I can practically see the back of this building. I realize it's the next building over, but it's so close, it might as well be the back of this building. So like, this is so convenient. And then when they asked me to confirm, they were like, yeah, so it's the next town over. It's only like a 5 minute drive away, and I've got the Honda Fit, so it's not a big deal. But I didn't realize they had two offices, and I had called that one until just then. So whatever, I ended up talking to a robot, and the robot was like, beep boop, you can't talk to me. And I'm like, sorry, I didn't realize I was talking to a robot, thought I was talking to a person, never mind. Blah, 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 bling, 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 blah. New people gave me a appointment for this actual month. So that alone is wow. I didn't even know that was available as an option. Thank you. Can't wait. Can't wait. And I forget what else. I forget why else I was frustrated or angry. Perhaps because I had a bunch of work to do on the weekend and it was Easter and I didn't want to. And then I didn't do it for a few hours and was like, now I should have. So I need to build karma points. For the karma police? No. I mean, yes, but in order to make myself feel good sometimes, I need to do something. Maybe it's a bit of the Superman syndrome or whatever. It's like I need to do just good deeds to make myself feel better about myself, or just about the world. So either way, I went to the farmer's market once again, trying to both go out into the world and not be terrified and feel like that's a crime, and also not go out into the world because it's like dangerous and a crime. So, all right, torso's fine. You know what? I think feel this neck. So I went to the farmer's market with the intention of getting something for my mom's birthday, even though I'm just like, nothing here she's going to like. Like, even the thing that I got her, I'm just like, I still know that she's not going to use this. Maybe she will, but I don't know. Probably not. So I'll still just get some, like gift certificate type stuff to put in her card besides this. But I still wanted to get something and also get something locally made, because the world kind of ended, and I like to support some local things. But then just the supporting local things thing just wasn't quite doing it for me, because I knew that it would semi kind of go to waste, but I still wanted to do it. So it's like, I'm kind of just doing this for nothing. And then same thing for somebody else's birthday. I grabbed something and I'm just like, this isn't what I wanted. But the people at the store were like, oh, well, we don't have that. But what about this and this? So like, yeah, that's technically kind of along those lines. And then once I got it and was putting it in the envelope, packaging it up, I'm like, this is stupid. This is stupid. Once they get this, I'm going to be like, by the way, feel free to throw that in the garbage. This is what I was going to get you, and I guess I felt bad for the people in the store, and I bought this, and it's not handmade, and I don't know why I got it, but just to make those people feel better, I guess. So I needed some other karma points for my own mental stability. So before I put everything into the post office, into the mail, I was out walking around, and I went to the post office first to get an envelope to put the stuff in later on. So I went up to the counter where the mail stuff is. Didn't think that I'd have to actually go up to the mail counter. I thought I would just go to like the drugstore that it's in and pay for it there. Just like last week, I can now hear, but I can't see it. The bug bouncing around off of things behind the camera, behind the lights. And it's definitely making me crazy. Because once again, is it a ladybug? That's fine. Is it one of those weird beetles that I don't enjoy? That's not fine. Whatever. So I go up to the counter and the post office. And the post office lady clearly does not want to be there today. or they're over the Easter weekend. I know this because she said, I don't want to be here over the Easter weekend or today. We shouldn't even be open. This is stupid and I hate this. And you could just feel and see just the exhaustion in her words. And I knew that also, since you were closed yesterday, all the people are just going to be here. And we kind of had that discussion of just like a lot of people are just out. They're just out for the sake of being out today. And I just feel so bad that you definitely have to endure a bunch of extra nonsense today. And that sucks. Like, that just sucks. Like, I do and usually end up talking to her and the other lady that works there almost every time I go there because I draw on all of the envelopes that I send usually, and it's always like, hey, you drew a thing and this and that. And I talk to people everywhere that I go. Son of a. So she's just kind of like, oh, like I just don't want to do this today. I wish I could go home, and just like, oh, like I wish you could too. That sucks. Um, So, and also, like, during this, before she even said anything, like, literally a guy came up out of nowhere just being like, hey, like, you were closed yesterday. If you had been open, like, you would have been overrun with people. And she's like, yeah, okay, like, thanks. So today, like, you're going to be overrun with people. Like, it's going to be a hard, terrible day. Can I have the bathroom key? Like, the bathroom's just open. Go to the bathroom. Like, oh, like, thanks. By the way. And it's just like, why are you even doing this? Like, you're not even here to, you're here to take a shit, but instead, on your way to take a shit, you're taking a shit on this poor little girl for no reason whatsoever, and making her day unnecessarily shitty. Like, it's already bad enough she's just here on a day where it should be closed. Like, I shouldn't be able to come in and do my post officey stuff right now. But I can, and I am. Hmm. So with this color, yeah. Did I paste that? No, I didn't. Oh my god. Always doing that. Paste. So I got my thing, and I'm like, yep, super sucks for you. You're gonna have a lineup all day long, and then dudes like that, like, hope your day gets better. See you in a few hours when I come back to actually mail this stuff. I'm gonna go home and put stuff in these envelopes and draw pictures on them, and away I went. So I did that, set up 2 envelopes of stuff, and knowing that this isn't just here you go, put a stamp on it. This takes a bit of a rigmarole. There's like 7 different stickers and weighing and this and that. Like this is just work, and there's definitely like 1,000 people with just like armloads of stuff doing that today, and that sucks. It sucks. And a few weeks ago I got a haircut, and I was just like, same deal. We're just like, this sucks. Like, I hate that I have to come here. You guys clearly don't want to be doing haircuts in pandemic land. But I do appreciate that you're like taking people's temperatures. You're making sure everybody sanitizes, everything's sanitized. Like, you're really putting in a bunch of extra effort here. And that's amazing. So I went over to the food court and I got them Tim Hortons gift card. Only a few people were working there that day. And it was just like, here you go. Get some donuts or sandwiches or coffee, whatever it is people enjoy. Just, thanks for putting in the effort. And after I filled up my envelopes, same deal. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to take one of these extra regular envelopes that a card didn't fit in, and I just drew Milo on it, and I drew some little bunny ears on his head. I didn't authorize any extra ears being added to my ears, so I had 4 ears, 2 sets of ears. I just seems unacceptable. Unacceptable like this mug. I mean, you could have at least just put big bunny ears on each of my ears with like some drawn tape. That would be okay. Or like some sort of big hat that also maybe had some like whiskers on it. And just 4 ears. I think that's weird. It was fine. So, this camera, um, so yeah, on the way back, I did that, drew that on the envelope, stopped at a Tim Hortons, once again, that Tim Hortons that did irritate me several days prior when I was like, you know what? I haven't really been eating junk food for a little while. I've got a hankering for a chocolate dip donut. And by a chocolate dip donut, I of course mean 6 chocolate dip donuts. So I'm going to go and get a half dozen donuts, and I'm probably going to eat them all in about an hour. So I went to that Tim Hortons, and they were like, "Oh no, like we don't even sell those kind of donuts. Slash, we barely even sell donuts here. Like, it is Tim Hortons. That's your thing that you do is sell. That's okay. But if you go to the next one down the road, like they definitely have them because they have all the kinds of donuts. Like, how do you? That's like the best one. That's like the best one. Whatever. So so that was a few days ago, and I was just like, I still had some of that karma policing in my head, and I'm just like, either way. He's like, you know what? I don't know if this person is into going to Tim Hortons. It just seems to be the universal currency of the Maritimes anyway. Is, everybody goes to Tim Hortons. I'm the only person that doesn't go to Tim Hortons, except for the one time I went to get some donuts for the first time in a year, and they didn't have the donuts that I wanted. So I drove for another 5 minutes till I got to another Tim Hortons and was literally just like, "Do you guys sell donuts? I hate to sound like a crazy person and to be begging for spit in my donuts, but do you sell donuts at this donut store? You do have dinosaurs on this dinosaur ride, right?" And I gold bloomed myself some a gift certificate, jammed that into that Milo envelope, wrote Happy Easter on it as well. Went down. When I got back to the post office, there was an older lady there. She had like 100 packages. There's another old lady there with a walker. So the first old lady was trying to make the walker old lady's life a little bit easier, which was nice. By just like, oh well, let's just stop mine. She's just got a package to do hers instead. Or just like, yours is almost done. Like, just if you just don't stop this, we'll be done in 2 seconds. No, no, no. And it's just like, oh, your explanation of why to make this better is not making it better. But I had headphones on, so I was just dancing away slightly in the lineup as the line built it up behind me. Off to the right is the pharmacy, and then there's a TV there that's saying like, hey, in Ontario, avocado shakes is dealing with the fact that on Friday there was 300 cases, and then on Saturday, did I say 300? 3,000 cases. Then there was 3,000 more cases, and every day there's 3,000 more cases. So that's just horrific and terrifying. And it's just like, I needed to do something good in the world. So finally, the old ladies did their old lady shuffle, and away they went. And I did my thing. Here's this, here's that. Like, oh, you and your drawings. I love these. Like, yep, awesome. And once she was finally done, I was like, oh, and by the way, here's your Easter bonus. Thanks for working on Easter weekend. You're appreciated. And I literally left as she was saying thank you. Like, I'm not here for thank yous, and Spider-Man away into the darkness. As I like to do. But I don't know. Like I said, like that's just a weird thing that I need to do sometimes, especially in pandemic land. Like, I don't know what I would do. Like, this girl I went to high school with, she's in Montreal, and she's got like a big family with like, I don't know, 3 or 4 kids, and most of them had COVID. I didn't even realize until it was like, hey, like I can taste again or I can smell again. Like, what? So again, thankfully for the most part, most people aren't being, hospitalized or going through the worst. Excuse me. Put in New Brunswick there, not too far from Space Goonie and Pat. Pat Prue 101. They have unlocked that new European strain that is crazy contagious. The hospitals are getting out of control. I saw a post where somebody's like, hey, like, this is just fear mongering. Like, it's not fear mongering. The hospital is like overflowing. This is, it's a dire thing. Like, what's wrong with you? And then, of course, oh, that's it for interneting for the day. Oops, didn't mean to look at posts. Keep forgetting that people just want to have a fight. So dipped out of there, and it is like, gotta go do something good in my own neighborhood, because the people that you meet when you're walking down the street are the ones that matter. Because today I went to Subway to get something to eat. Again, probably not the best thing. Now that we know that Subway bread is basically cake. But on the way home, ran into CTK on her way home, and it was great to see a real person that I know in the world. uh, Speaking of zones, Pat Prue 101. Speaking of zones, you know what? You know what makes me a little bit super crazy? When I do go to the internet and I Google COVID Nova Scotia, like what's the deal? What's the deal? Hey, where's the new stuff? Is it happening? Should I be afraid to go out today? What is the COVID report today? Is the germs raining down in the most worst Mary Poppinsy way? And then they do say that, like, oh, well, in the central zone, there's 3 more cases. In the northern zone, something this. And wherever, the eastern or western zones. And I just find myself trying desperately not to go to the internet and type yell or just scream at my own computer or go and grab those headphones again and find a parking lot to throw them across. Because at some point in time, in most of the world, we all took the time, and I'm not the greatest at remembering the names of places. I'm not the greatest at geography. I don't have a very good sense of direction. But we took a bunch of time, and we named everywhere? We already named everywhere. And as near as I can tell, the northern zone in Nova Scotia is most of Nova Scotia, and then the central zone is like Halifax is like one place, and I don't know where the other zones are. And it's just like, you know where it is. You know where it is? Just say the name of the place where it is. Why can't we just say the city? Cities are pretty big. Towns are pretty big. It's fine to list like 2 or 3 towns or places. Like, here are the adjacent areas. It's not that big of a list, but instead, oh, in the northern zone, we named them. We already named them. We already named them. Like, oh, where do you feel pain in your body? Oh, in the lefterly zone. What do you think about that? In the lefterly zone. Do you mean your left arm? What? Oh no, I mean, yeah, in my elbow to be specific. But yeah, somewhere in the lefterly zone is what I'm going to call it. And then from there, you're going to have to ask more questions cuz it's not like we have names for everything already that everybody knows. Ugh. Ugh. The ozone. We've already used zones for stuff as well. Avocado shakes. Yeah, you're the one who just pointed that out. Zones are up there. We got an ozone, and that's not even a zone. That's a layer of stuff. It's a chemical compound of some kind. And of course, realistically, it's one of those things that are, hey, why even be angry about that? Because out of all the things that you could be angry about, it's it's a harmless anger. It's a fun anger. Because what am I gonna do? Sit here being angry at COVID? You can't. You can't. And also, a bunch of people already are, but they're angry at it in the wrongest way possible. They're just being racist instead, and that's insane. That's insane. Like it's just. But we already broached that subject before, and if you want to get more specific on that, you can go watch the YouTube channel podcast that is A Tone Meant for Me. A Tone, TONEMEANTFORME. And she discusses a lot of that stuff, and actually is an Asian person who gets it better, gets it worse, understands it better than I ever could. Oh man, the world is a vampire. The world is a vampire. You say it. Didn't you bring up all that stuff so you could be like, hey, here's my karma points. So here's the thing that irritated me so that I could talk about something good. Yep. But that's how Pandora's boxes work. Is you open one up and it's all of the things. There's one bit of hope, but then the rest is all anarchy and vampires. And yeah, and they suck like a vampire. So true. So true. I'm sure I had some other notes, right? No, that was it for the notes, and it's 10:30. 10:30. What do we got here? Is it time for a 10:30 song? It's 10:30 and it's time to go to bed. Everyone needs to rest a restful head. You can be whoever you want in your dreams. You can flaunt your powers of flight, but watch out for zombies and monsters and fears. Remember that things, they don't disappear, but also they do. And you cannot run, but sometimes you can, 'cause dreams can be fun. That was weird. That was weird. That did remind me that I had a weird dream that I did want to mention because it was just so insane and based on real events that happened. But throughout that entire little foot soldier song, couldn't for the life of me remember what it was. F8, lower arm. Not because we're lowering an arm, but because it's called the lower arm. We'll delete these lines. No, delete the lines. Add a little bit of... yeah, add a little bit of... Whoa! Rocks Pup Canine. Was that a follow? That was a follow from a dog and friends. Can't get back. Yeah, I'm just gonna add a little bit of extra sleeve. Put the hand over here. Meow. I don't want to make bones. Come on now. And we go F8 and make that a single frame. And eventually, or right now, I'll make a few alternate hands. Alternate hands to grab at things. Alternate hands. Ah! That's the text tool. That's the text tool. Rectangle. Rectangle. Meow. Sample color. Rectangle. No outline. How I usually do 8-bitting is I make a square and then I just keep copy and pasting that square. And I hate it. Delete it. Just making some random hands that I may or may not ever use. Why this is making outlines? Because the outline's not on. But it's making outlines from dusk till dawn. And full arm. Do 8 upper arm. Oh man. Scaling so off and I don't care. Gonna distribute these to their own lair. You guys see that? Oh, no, you can't. Ah, well. Well, that's most of the parts. I'll probably separate those legs as well at some point. So I can shuffle my legs a little bit and make another back arm to put back there. And then maybe rotate some things, make some extra parts. But honestly, slightly more than I expected to break it down by. But I also talked a lot, so normally this wouldn't take half as long as it took. But it did. But it did. And one thing that has been driving me crazy. This. Too wide. Way too wide. Better about that. Oh, what I did. Kind of fixed. Close enough. There. Fixed. And yeah, that's basically what it's gonna be. It's in between two ferns with Milo and Curtis. Yeah, either before next week or next week. I'll do the same thing to Milo and turn this into some thousands of animated shorts. By thousands, I mean, you know, 4 at least. So that's a pretty good promise. At least one. At least one that I've recorded. But yeah, like I said, Milo definitely needs a pile of work. What do I even have? Yeah, like he just leans back and forth a little bit from when we play video games. But that's what that'll be. I'll do some cut-ins and cutouts to the both of us, so it's slightly more interesting instead of just one wide shot. But yeah, eventually I'll get back to putting my own animations on my own YouTube channel once again because it's been way too long. Last week, after last week's talking about animations, I took some of the ones that we looked at last week and threw them up on the YouTube channel, and maybe one extra one. or one less. Either way, I put some things up. Again, sometime this week, I'll try and take some time again and upload some more old ones and eventually get back to making new stuff when I'm not busy making other people's new stuff. What time is it? It's practically the middle of the night. I'm too tired, too old for this, really. Have I taken a drink of this water the entire time I've been here? I know I've thought about it about 1,000 times, but I haven't. Hey, could I talk while you're drinking water? Let's see how that works. Nope, guess not. Not a ventriloquist. Not an accomplished ventriloquist. Taking some of that cake bread out of my teeth, because that's professional, huh? Just like Mr. Dressup used to do. That's why it's grittier, huh? I burped, and I'm just gonna pick some stuff out of my teeth live on the internet and recorded for posterity. Cause we're coming in like a wrecking ball. Never picked so much food before. Never meant to have some gas, but sometimes gas escapes the door of our face. And feel like I'm forgetting something. Stories. If you're new to the stream and you want more stuff, like I said, you go to go to MrCartoons.com. There's a link to merchandise where there's some Milo merch. There's a Mr. Cartoons like shirt and pillows and bags and whatnot. There's the I'm gonna go chasing waterfalls. No, don't shirt. And of course the weird little David Bowie space kitten. And of course sexy red plumber, sexy green plumber, and some sexy dinosaurs in shirt form. And if you go to the bookstore, there's books of sexy dinosaurs. There's the comics that we make here in book form, and one, if not two, of the poetry books. I wish I could see the screen from here. How do I make a song out of that? X10 856. They're following and getting in the mix. Maybe their name is Rix. Probably not. Not a good song, but who cares? Back to the remote. Always feel free to go chasing those waterfalls. You don't have to stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to, but you can also do that. I know that I've been sticking to the rivers or the streams and the waterfalls that I've become used to. Apparently there's a wishing well that I may or may not have come across, because I noticed post today. Hey, X10 856 Streamlabs is hosting me, like I said that they might be, and they are, because they love me there, and they're paying for my car. Technically, because I worked there, and they pay my bills, but my car was paid off before I started working there. But my gas, I gotta buy gas. You need a job to pay for gas, and that's how I do that. That doesn't need. Nobody needs that explained. Nobody needs that. It's too late. It's gotten very late. It's time to go to sleep. For all the good little cat the kittens to go to sleep. And that is not a reference to that crazy lady. Ted. Hey man, yeah. Let's all go to sleep. I don't even have to go anywhere. I'm just in a painting, and I'll just close my eyes like that wise old owl from the Mr. Dressup show that you talked about later. Bruh, let's go to sleep. Good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out, stopping by. Subscribe to the YouTube, follow on Instagram. That's where I do all of the updates for when I am going to stream. And if I do draw something or finish it, I put the finished product there. And of course, reels are real fun, where I usually do some stop motioning nonsense. But that's about it. That's about it. That's about it. Meow to everyone. Should have drank a lot more water during this. My throat is so dry right now, it's ridiculous. But yeah, thanks, and have a great night. And Ripley, meow, 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 meow. Yep, outro credits, please, and or thank you.